I'm Daniel Thorne. I'm from Queen's College, Guyana, and I'm here to collect the award for the best CSEC science performer in the Caribbean. Most times for free time, I like to watch TV, and for free time, I love to waste time. So sometimes I don't know, sometimes I'll be playing basketball, sometimes I play basketball, I play some video games and so on. I eat and I sleep in my free time, so I love to sleep as well. Um, I read some books and so on, but other than that, I don't really I don't really do much because I don't really have much free time during the CSEC period because I have a lot of work to do, so I don't really have much free time. Well, my greatest strength and one that I always rely on is my passion for maths and science. Without my passion, without my love for mathematics and for science, I wouldn't have been here. So it's because of my love that it pushed me to work and become the best at what I do. And eventually, well, my greatest weakness is my laziness, my lack of self-discipline. Sometimes I don't really, well, not for the science math, but some other subjects, I don't really like want to dedicate the time to do it. But I eventually have to force myself and to push myself because it's there, and at the end of the day, I still have to do it. At the end of the day, I still have to do CSEC. But so I think that's what motivated me to kind of push for it. And as the days got closer to CSEC, I started to work harder and harder. So yeah. My greatest obstacle was I think it was my laziness. So it was kind of a self obstacle in a way. But I had to overcome that eventually and just push to do whatever I had to do. I had to stop being lazy and start focusing on my work. I had some help from my parents. My father was a very strict man in terms of when it came to work. When it came to work, he was very strict, and that's what sort of pushed me. And some nights I would just be, especially for math, some nights I would just be there looking at the problem, doing it over and over, but I still wouldn't get it right. And like, I'll just take a break and go to God and just pray and just ask for guidance and so on. And eventually he pulled through for me in those nights. And for some exams it happens as well. Sometimes I just have to take the time to and go to God and just ask him for help. And he does pull through sometimes. Well, the CXC products, I used a lot of study guides for chemistry, biology, HSB, and maths. For some other subjects, the other subjects I needed study guides for. Subjects like agricultural science, and math, but they don't have study guides for agri and math, which was kind of weird. So I just had to go to the textbook for agri, and agri is a very voluminous subject. So it's kind of hard for me to like do the whole book in less than like 2 months or something like that. But I still had to do it. I still did it, and here I am. So yeah, other products that I used some study guides. I used some. Well, yeah, I used some past papers. Yeah, I used a lot of past papers actually. Um, Past papers for chemistry, and most of my subjects I didn't use past papers for French. I think that was the only subject I didn't use past papers for. And English B, because it didn't really make sense to use past papers for English B. But other than that, I found them, yeah, it was very helpful. My father is my role model. He he was the one that kind of brought me up in math, because I wasn't always a good math student. I wasn't always a good science student. Back in grade 5, I was actually terrible at math. But my father took the time off from his work to help me and bring me up. He practiced some sums with me, and eventually I started to practice them on my own. and I found that some were hard, some were easy, but I still had to work through them. And it was for me, it was kind of my drug. So whenever I got something right, it sent up my dopamine levels. So I got very happy, and it was kind of addicting to get something right, something hard, not any normal thing right, to get something hard right, to get something that was difficult. It was kind of addicting to get that right. So I worked more and more problems, got more and more right. I got more and more addicted to maths, and eventually I started to like maths and started to like science. So if it wasn't for him, I would have never been introduced to maths, to the scope and to the, the how open maths can be and what it can do for you, and science and so on. Honestly, I didn't work for this. Yeah, well, not that I didn't work for this, but I wasn't aiming for the best science student in the Caribbean. I was aiming to do the best I possibly could. So, as I said, I loved science, and I wanted to be good at it. I wanted not to be good at it, I wanted to be the best at it. So I worked and I worked and I studied and I studied over and over. Some nights I would be looking at some questions and going back to the textbook because I can't remember some stuff. It's science is something you have to be at it all the time. So some nights would be in the textbook. I have two, three, about for biology. I remember I had 5 different textbooks at one time. I had to put them on the ground and all. I was on the table and then looking at the bottom and writing. 5 different textbooks I had for bio, because bio is a very wide subject. And it's not a subject you can really cram. But for aspiring students that want to be here, you just gotta love what you do, and as I said, have a passion for what you do. The subjects that I picked, I loved each and every one of them. That's why it wasn't a problem for me making the sacrifices. I didn't have to like. So for some students, I understand that they just pick up the subject just to pick it up sake, but they don't really like it, so they don't really put that much effort into it, and most of the time they come out with a grade 2 or a grade 3, right? For me, that wasn't the case, right? I loved each and every one of my subjects, and I did come with a grade 2. That was French, but I tried my best with it. I tried my best, and if a grade 2 was my best, well then fine, I'll get better at it soon. But yeah, just love what you do, and have a passion for what you do, and eventually all the sacrifice, all the hard work is gonna come into place. So yeah.